Listen closely, because what you're about to hear will unsettle you. It's not a story, but a revelation, a silent map woven into your soul, erased from the pages of history, yet alive in the dark corners of your mind. You will soon discover that your life was never truly yours, but a role chosen in the shadow of eternity. Stay with me, and every secret will become your own. There are truths so old, so hidden, that even the oldest libraries in the world have forgotten them. Yet they are not gone. They slumber in the whispers of dreams, in the flicker of déjà vu, in that eerie certainty that you have lived this moment before. What if I told you that the very breath you take now is a continuation of choices made long before you were born? Long before you first cried in this world, you were a soul adrift in the unlit corridors of existence, guided by something older than time itself. These are the hidden stages of the soul's passage, a forbidden manuscript that speaks not in ink, but in the vibrations of your own heartbeat. It begins with a whisper, a silent invitation echoing across dimensions so faint you might mistake it for a trick of the mind. But it is real. This call is the first crack in the veil you wear. Not an order, not a demand, but a pulse of ancient music that beckons your soul to awaken. If you are listening now, it is because you answered this call long before you had a name. This call is the hush of the midnight sky that pulls at your chest, the way a forgotten melody haunts your mind with a feeling you cannot place. It is the ache in your bones when you watch a sunset and feel something break loose inside you. It is the silent promise that you are meant for something more, and that your journey is far from over. Before your soul stepped into flesh and bone, you were not an empty slate. You stood at the threshold of your past lives, witness to every breath you have ever taken. No judgment, no punishment, only the raw clarity of every choice you have ever made, and the ripples those choices left behind. In this place, there is no escaping your own reflection. The pain you gave, you feel in return. The love you offered, you see shining in the eyes of those you touched. You were your own jury, your own confessor, and in that endless mirror of empathy, you chose what wounds to carry forward and what truths to leave behind. Beyond the review lies a council, not of gods, but of souls as ancient as your own. Beings of light and darkness, keepers of your history, of your deepest desires. In their silent chamber, your future was laid bare. No destiny forced upon you, only paths offered, and the choice of which would lead you closer to the echo of your own becoming. Here, you saw the faces you would meet again, some as friends, some as adversaries. Every betrayal, every kindness already woven into the tapestry of what was to come. And you chose, not because you were bound, but because you yearned to become more than what you had been. When you chose to return, you crossed a final threshold, a shroud of forgetting so thick that even the memory of your choice would be lost. You fell through that veil in silence, emerging into the cold light of birth with no memory of the promises you had made. But forgetting was never punishment. It was the crucible of growth. For what is the meaning of courage if you remember every victory? What is the meaning of faith if you never stand in darkness? You did not tumble blindly into the family that would shape you. You chose the bloodline that would best forge the lessons your soul still needed. Every genetic marker, every wound of the flesh was agreed upon in that chamber of choice, not as fate, but as the perfect tool for your evolution. the body you wear, the skin that binds your bones, these two were chosen with a precision you can barely imagine. For every scar, every gift of beauty or pain is a symbol etched into the map of your soul's journey. You were born not to drift, but to burn with a purpose as bright and sharp as a blade. But the world taught you to forget. It taught you to bury that purpose under the weight of fear and conformity. Yet even now, it pulses beneath your ribs, the memory of why you returned, the mission that calls to you in the quiet hours of the night, when you lie awake wondering if there is more to this life than what you have been shown. After choosing your mission, your body, and your family, there came the most delicate moment of all, the crossing of the veil of forgetfulness. In the spiritual plane, your soul knows everything. It remembers all its lives, understands the purpose of each existence, feels unity with the all. But for the human experience to be real, intense, and transformative, it is necessary to forget. It is necessary to be born without memories, like a blank page. The veil was not placed as a punishment, nor as a curse, but as a choice. Imagine trying to play a game where you already know all the outcomes. There would be no excitement, no growth, no uncertainty, no mystery, no triumph in the darkness. This is why you don't remember the council of souls. This is why you don't recall choosing your parents. This is why you so often feel lost. The veil was placed with love so that every step would be authentic. But the veil is not perfect. It is thin in some places, in dreams, in strong intuitions, in moments of deep silence. You feel echoes of your true origin. You feel homesick for a place you can't locate. You feel that there is something more waiting beyond what the eyes can see. That longing, that search, is your soul itself trying to pierce the veil, trying to remember. The most beautiful thing is that you can start tearing this veil now, consciously. When you meditate, when you pay attention to subtle signs, when you follow your intuition without fear, small tears begin to appear. The light of who you really are starts to pass through. You remember that you are not just this body, not just this name, not just this story. You are eternal. And even if you have forgotten for a while, even if you have doubted, your essence has never changed. It has only slept, waiting for the right moment to awaken. If you feel you are ready to cross the veil of forgetfulness and truly live the purpose your soul chose, know this: your awakening has already begun. After crossing the veil of forgetfulness, after leaving behind the conscious memory of everything you planned, you arrive at the most courageous moment of the soul's journey: birth, the final leap of faith. You, an eternal consciousness full of wisdom and love, dive into the dense layers of physical existence without guarantees, without certainties, without conscious memories. Only pure trust. Only the invisible impulse of one who knows that life is the path to expansion. This leap is perhaps the greatest act of courage in all existence. You leave the vastness of the infinite to enter a fragile and vulnerable body. You accept the limitation of matter. You accept pain, fear, loss. You accept to forget who you are, so that through each human experience, you can remember again. That is why this knowledge was hidden, not just kept. It was intentionally erased, distorted, discredited. The forbidden texts were not lost by accident. They were buried on purpose. The Codex Animi is just one among many forbidden texts. Manuscripts that spoke of the soul's journey were banned, burned, buried in history. Masters who tried to remind humanity of their true origin were persecuted, ridiculed, silenced. But truth has its own power. It cannot be buried forever. It lives in the margins of ancient books, in the messages of dreams, in the whispers of your own heart. You feel it, don't you? That internal restlessness, that feeling that there's so much more than what was told. That is your soul trying to break through the wall of lies that was built around you. And the good news is, no one can stop your soul from awakening. The power to remember who you are has always been and will always be within you. Now that you know this, you have a choice. You can go back to sleep as those who built the forget and want, or you can move forward, break old patterns, and live as what you have always been, an eternal, free, and conscious being. The next question is inevitable: how to start remembering who you truly are. The Codex Animi says that the memory of the soul is not completely erased. It remains dormant, like a seed under the earth, waiting for the right conditions to bloom. These conditions can be created. Remembering who you are does not happen in a magical flash. It is a process, a gradual reunion with what has always been inside you. And the more you align with certain practices and signs, the easier it becomes to tear the veil and let your true light emerge. It all starts with silence. Modern life is noisy, chaotic, full of distractions, and this is intentional. Because in silence, you begin to hear what was forgotten. Meditating, even for a few minutes a day, is like lighting a lantern in the darkness of consciousness. Each deep breath, each moment of mindfulness brings you closer to your essence. Then there are dreams. The Codex reveals that during sleep, the soul partially frees itself from the body. Lucid dreams, out-of-body experiences, recurring symbols. These are fragments of memory of your true origin trying to reach you. Do not ignore your dreams. Write them down. Reflect on them. Ask yourself, what is my soul trying to remind me? Another powerful way is to follow your intuition. Logic has been exalted in the modern world as the only reliable path, but the soul whispers through intuition. Sometimes, without apparent reason, you feel like changing your path, talking to someone, starting a new project. These impulses, if pure and aligned, are not coincidences. They are memories of the soul in action. And above all, remember, you are not alone. The council of souls, your spiritual guides, your own higher essence, they are all still here, waiting for you to make space for the reunion. When you sincerely ask for help, the universe responds, always. Awakening is an act of courage. It is if the echoes of this forbidden journey stirred something ancient inside you. Do not let the veil close again. Pause, breathe, and claim your next step. 1. Subscribe so the hidden chapters waiting in the shadows find you the moment they surface. 2. Share this revelation with one soul you sense is ready to remember. 3. Comment below with the symbol, dream, or whisper that's been haunting you. Let us weave a map of awakening together. Because the more of us who remember, the sooner the walls of forgetting crumble. The silence is ending. Help amplify the truth.